afternoon. Good afternoon. I will give everybody a chance to get in and get live with us and get active. Um, Today, we are starting a new platform, I guess you want to call it, a new subject matter, a new opportunity for us to kind of explore some different avenues through this. And this will be entitled The Single Life. This is the single life. So it's just for all of our singles to come in, just kind of have the ability to have a roundtable discussion about anything that we all go through and we all see and we all learn and explore about as a single adult. There are things that each one of us encounters, different things that each one of us sees that we it's a lot. Like the single life right now is it's a lot. So we as a ministry wanted to open up another, like I said, another avenue for us singles to kind of be able to come together and talk, not in a formal format, but just in a very relaxed, very chill format. I will have different guests that will join me from week to week. This week, I will have two guys. Man, I love both of these guys dearly. That you guys will get a chance to see in just a second. But I will have two guys that will join me this week. The next time we come back for the single life, I will have a panel of ladies that will join me. So we're going to explore a lot of different avenues. So I won't I won't hold you too much. I will go ahead and bring them on. And by all means, this time is just like any other time. Any questions that you have, anything that you want us to get to, by all means, put it in the chat and we will jump on there. And don't forget to share it. We want to be able to impact and come across and get in contact with as many people as we can. So I will bring on these two great guys. This first guy that you're seeing, this is Jeray Brown. I've had the opportunity to watch Jeray pretty much grow up his entire life. Jeray, how old are you?
26.
Okay, Jeray is 26, and I'm saying that because I want you all to be able to see. I kind of got a guy that represents each age division. So Jeray's in the 20 to 30 division. Me, I represent the 30 to 40. And then this guy right here, this is my six. This is my friend brother right here, Mr. Kelvin Luster. This guy right here is just, we connected a couple years ago, and just it's been a brotherhood since then, man. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that both you guys could be on, man. I appreciate you guys. And as I told you guys before off camera, very informal, very informal. I want y'all to feel free to speak freely, and let's just get right into it. All right. I generated a couple questions that I want us to kind of dive into, and I won't like tell you, just speak as you see fit. But I want to know, as you guys see it in your own life, what do you feel is the purpose of dating? The purpose of dating.
Um, I say the purpose of dating for me, um, just to get a feel out of who the person actually is.
Okay.
Um, yeah, just to, cause when you first meet somebody, I'm not gonna say they not gonna show their true self, because they want to be perfect. They
Right,
want
right,
to
right,
show
right.
you a perfect example of them. So
Right.
just trying to get a feel out, who they really are, and things of that nature.
Okay. Luster, what you got?
Man, dating takes on it can take on so many different personalities, and it really depends on where that person, they are in that life. And then, to be honest, depending on the person that you're dating, they can kind of, move your shift and focus. Because we're men on here. You said just be honest.
Right.
In that initial dating phase, it's something strictly physical. It's like,
Right, right.
oh my God, like she's beautiful. And as my guy just said, as you get to know them, then you start kind of moving into, hey, this is someone like, I like having around, and then even to, possibly like, hey, this is someone I could really marry. So it really just depends on those early interactions and, kind of, where that type relationship takes you. And like I said, initially it's all about the physical. It's all about having fun. But depending on who that person is, and your interaction, like the purpose of dating, like it's very dynamic and fluid. That can change over time, and with increased interactions with the person.
But cause see, so my dad always put it in me. He would always say, "Son, you're going about dating the wrong way." He said, "Man, you looking at the wrong stuff." He said, "Your purpose in dating," he said, "you don't want to see if you like somebody." He said, "You know what like is like. You don't even need to talk to somebody to like them." He said, "Son, you dating them to see if you can deal with them for the rest of your life. Like you're dating them to see if they can measure up to whatever that next level is for you in your life." So for me, that always became like the mode of dating. Like dating was cool. Younger days, yeah, man, I'm just, but as I started to transition and start to get some gray hairs in my beard, it was like, all right, now we need to see what this. Are you gonna make it to the next phase? Like
Yeah.
we tested for that second and third phase now. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I agree. When you guys look at dating right now, what are your perspectives on the dating scene as it is right now? And I refer to dating as the absolute wild, wild west right now because it is ever evolving. Me at 35, Jeray, you 20, did you say 26,
Big
27?
26.
All right, Luster, you gonna put it out there.
I'm in that 40 to 40. I'm in that 40 to 50 range. As a matter of fact, I'm the big 49. So,
Oh,
but hey,
so
I
we got
love I love every minute of it.
absolutely right. So we're all in that seeing it from different optics, right? Different perspectives. Everybody kind of has a different vantage point. So like for me, I think the dating game for me, I've completely shifted from probably where I was a few years. Well, let me get you. I'm gonna get y'all's feedback first. Let me before I dive in on me. Let me. What are y'all's thoughts on the current perspective of the dating game?
And I don't think I don't like it right now, to be honest, because as we all see, all of us are on social media, so we see the videos of some people, not being happy with, what guys take them on a first date, so they feel like if you're gonna take me out, you should take me to a certain place, to a certain spot. So I just feel like it's not.
It's different. It's
It's
different.
yeah,
The logistics are changing, right? Like it's you people say chivalry is dead. You hear things like that, and it's tough to kind of be a gentleman. It's all right, cool. I want to go out. Like for me, I used to have this thought. My first date would never be like a real fancy place.
yeah,
Like my first date was gonna always be somewhere real regular, right? Because I need to know like when you go with me, like it's not about where we're going, but it's more about the time. It's about that QT. Like we're together, we're about to talk. Like I'm cool. I'm gonna tell y'all what I've learned. Like I like places that we can go and talk. Like I don't want a first date to be a movie.
yeah,
I don't even really want a first date to be dinner because I don't want to be constantly interrupted. Like let's go to a park. You feel me? Like let's go to Starbucks. Let's shift the perspective. So now I can spend time getting to know you because I feel like, and to go back to you, Quad, you said that that initial phase is so physical, and I feel like a lot of times we're so driven in that physical sense that we forget about that quality time where it's just like, well, let me get the mental side. Like, where are you mentally? Let me talk to you.
yeah,
What's your family like? Like, tell me the background. You know what I mean? Give me all these. Let me get some perspective on learning what your general makeup is as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah. So like the dating scene, and you know, G, I always say I don't like nothing old but money, and so the dating scene for me is kind of tough because like uh, last couple of females, they've been mid 30s or whatever,
Right.
which it's, man, like you said, when you described it as the wild wild west, I totally agree because what has happened is almost like a role reversal now. It's like a lot of the females now do, they do the things that we as men do, and like a lot of times where we would be like, hey, I got a certain time before, I, say we get the draw. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right, right.
But now it's like women have that perspective. And it's tough because where you want to get to know someone, and I think you and I talked about this, is difficult because women expect so much early on that it really taints them getting to know you. You know, they know your pockets and they know your, you know, your level of economic ability before they know who you really are. And it's just, man, it's just kind of tough. It's definitely tricky. And you know, you almost have to go into dating situations where you are, you know, you are guarded mentally and even now physically as well as financially. And for me, it's, you know, it's even crazy. Like I have so many stipulations on, you know, dating myself. Like I prefer female with no children, but you know, for me at my age, you know, it's like, you know, dang, where am I going to find that?
Yeah.
So
Or at
all right,
least
so
if
can I pinpoint that because I do want to get to that, but I see we got a question in. Somebody just asked, Tiffany A asked, and I'm totally interested to hear both of y'all's thoughts and perspective on this. How early on would you know if they would make it to the next phase? When we referenced the next phase earlier, how early on? And I apologize because I just was told like I didn't even have y'all's cameras up at first. I thought I had y'all's cameras up, but they weren't up. But now everybody can see y'all. So welcome, 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 welcome. This is Jeray. This is Kelvin. All right, boom. Everybody good? Boom. We here. Okay, boom. So, all right. So, question. The question that came in is how early on would you know if this woman that you're dating would make it to the next phase of dating for you?
Are we saying next phase being the second date or the next phase of us
Like
being?
so when I talked about, I'm guessing Tiffany, I'm guessing from when I said that, that initial you date to see if they'll make it to that next level. So like dating, let's just say dating as a whole and everything that culminates with dating is like the precursor, right? So then I'm guessing from dating you go to like exclusively dating, and then from exclusively dating you're looking at now like engagement and possible marriage, right? So what's the time factor in that for both of y'all?
Mm.
Everybody silent.
I man, watch this. I'll go first because my man been going first on the other one. Like, and I'm gonna be honest. Like when you're dealing with someone that's stable and like knows themselves, is it's really not a time limit because you know I'm of the school. A man knows whether a man knows if he can be with a woman, and I'm gonna be honest, within the first 90 days.
Do you
Within
think
the
it
first
really takes 90 days though? Do you think like
I was
90 is
I
really
was just being I was just being generous for the sake of conversation. But let's just say he'll know within the first 90 days. And so the thing that's most important is that a man is secure and stable himself because it's not really, first of all, I don't depend on a woman to bring anything to the table. You know, the only thing I need her to be is feminine. And you know, and
right?
G, we talked about this, and as long as I'm operating the in my masculine, I'm going to create that environment where she can be feminine. And in that environment where she's feminine, you know, I'm getting everything I need from there. But you know, the thing, and I guess it's such taboo, is because if a man knows what he wants, he's stable, he's you know secure. If a man comes too early and says, you know, hey, I think this is something that you know I want to pursue, you know, a lot of time women are scared off by that. You know, they're like, you know, dang, you know, he's thirsty, he's this. And it's like, no, I'm not thirsty, but I mean, I know what it takes for me. And the thing about it, like and for me, it doesn't even depend on what the woman, it doesn't depend on the woman. It depends on me. It's how much I'm gonna deal with. And that's because I,
Yeah.
I really don't expect anything. So it doesn't take long at all. You know, when you start in, you know, being in situations where people have been together forever, I want to tell women he probably just not that interested in you.
So what would you say? All right, because so for the women, Andrew, I'm gonna let you jump in on this in just a second. So for the women that are on right now, what
Oh,
would
is
you
women on
say?
here?
Absolutely.
Oh, dang. I thought it was just the guys.
Oh, they had to
So
check.
so
Dang.
what would you say what would you say is a time factor for a woman to reevaluate the situation? I mean, I get it, there's time in getting to know you And as you get to know them, you are developing likes and dislikes, right? I mean, I have had it sometimes where you pick wrong. Like, you may have pegged early on, like, yeah, these qualities, this person has all the qualities that I want. I check multiple boxes, like, I know this is about to transition to the next level. And then you continue on, and it's like, ooh, I misread that. This is not what I thought it was going to be. You know what I
So,
mean? And then there are some times where you made a choice early, and you said, all right, this isn't it, and I know this isn't it. And then you still may have had it was a place where you all still had to cross paths and have interactions with each other. And then you said, ooh, I think I missed it on that, right? So what's the real time factor? And I'm asking this as an individual, like for you, Kelvin, and for you, Jeray, like what would be the time factor that you would evaluate to say, okay, this is really something serious, and I want to take this serious and go from not openly dating to more so exclusively dating.
so, so,
Um, go ahead.
so my bad, bro. So this is the tricky part, in dating now. Like I understand that is, you're talking to someone, and then you're dating, then you're exclusively dating, and then you're in a relationship. And so I all think that's just a setup for women to actually, benefit longer before they actually commit. But I think everyone definitely needs to go through at least all of the seasons. So at least a year, to be honest, because you need to know how a female is with her family at Christmas, how she's with her family New Year's, Thanksgiving, and then throughout the year people have those difficult moments,
Right.
and just how they respond during those
Because you
difficult
want to
moments
see
during that.
those. You welcome
Exactly.
the
During
difficult moments. You want to see
during
those.
that, during that time of year. And so it's like at least a year for real. But this is the key. So many times when we're dating, I found that you're not the only one that they're dating. So what
Mm,
happens is when you
mm.
go through a situation and it's a tough situation, but then they don't normally react how they would if they're being genuine because there's someone else.
Right.
So you need to be in a situation where you're genuinely dating. You go through those difficult situations and you are the only person that they have to count on. When you're
Mm.
the only person they have to count on, that's when you'll see who they are genuinely. And then that's when you'll see if there's someone you can be with. But you really can't say you would want to be with someone before you've had some difficult times in that relationship.
But okay, Jeray, jump in, jump in.
I kind of like agree with you said. Before I get to that next phase, and I'm 26, so I'm still young. But I say, 21. It didn't take me long. A
To
month,
decide what basket to go.
probably less than that. But being older now, a couple years, um, I see that if I start talking to you, yes, we're talking, but like you said, we're just dating. We're not exclusive.
Right,
So somebody else could come along and I might like them more than I like you.
right.
So, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to say like, in that type of way, but you have a great energy with you. If I meet somebody else who, that I enjoy spending time with, and they meet, whatever my requirements are and we connecting.
So do you okay, so I'm glad you took us there, right? So do you all have that conversation, right? So if I'm dating you, right, and we're good, and I meet somebody else and I think that they're good. Now we're dating, we're not exclusive at this point, right? We're not exclusive, we're not in that space. But do you have a conversation to say, hey, um, I'm no longer just dating you. Like
Oh,
now,
Oh, for sure, because I don't want you out here thinking that he just exclusive to me and I'm out here, and I'm not saying, I'm out here trying to do my thing and have you tied to me because I don't
right,
want
right,
that
right,
narrative to be, I don't want it to
right,
be the narrative. Because you could come along and meet another guy who you might think is more qualified than me. And you
right.
got every right to pursue, whatever your heart desires. So that's
So
just
let
how I feel.
so let me jump in on that, and I agree with what you said. But dating women in their mid 30s. I have learned from them, from the females, that they do not have. I've been told they do not have an obligation to us to tell us if they start dating somebody else. That's
Wow.
what they said. So
Wow.
I'm
Mm.
telling you, man, is yeah.
Okay, so then all right, okay. So let me ask this. And here's the most here's the bigger question on the table. At what point, because I'm sure we all have a checklist, right, that we're looking for, and here are my do's, here are my don'ts, here are my I cannot do this, and the moment you show me this, I'm out, right? We all have those things kind of mapped out. At what point in dating and getting to know somebody do you start talking to God about this person? Like, do we wait until we feel like it's serious and then we start talking to God and like, God, is it, should I really, or is this early on? And the reason why I ask that is because we all know, I know everybody in I know y'all's backgrounds, both of you all's backgrounds, so we know the
Hey,
Holy
what that
Spirit.
mean, man?
I'm about what's up? I know your spiritual background. I
Oh,
know
okay, my
both of
spirit.
y'all
Okay.
spiritual background. Okay. All right. So here we go. So with that being said, right, knowing the spiritual background, we know that the Holy Spirit is our guide, right? So I feel like the Holy Spirit takes, if we go that route, which I know I'm guilty of it. I don't always talk to God about situations. I don't always do it, right? But if we were to seek God, I think it would, I know that it would remove a lot of the trial and error out of dating and a lot of the wasted time, because God would tell you immediately that's not it, right? So I'm asking, at what phase do we begin to seek God? Because I've talked to other friends that will tell me like, oh, I started talking to God when I feel like I'm getting serious about something, right? But I feel like that's we kind of working behind the eight ball already at that point.
I'm talking to God right after I meet you. So I ain't even wasting time. I am not trying to waste your time. I ain't trying to waste my time.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
that's what I'm
it,
at with that.
and I like that. So I don't feel like I'm on an island. Like for real. Typically, I try to let God, like my prayer every night is like, God, give me, continue to give me your wisdom and guidance. So I'm
Right.
asking for God's, discernment on everything. And so one thing that's important to me, and I think, George, we talked about this before, been kind of toying with the idea of writing a book
Yeah. Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on my non-spiritual background and where I am today. But I tend to talk to God earlier on because, one of the biggest questions that I would like to propose to everyone is that, what happens when the expectations of a relationship and the expectations that God have for you
Don't
don't
meet.
align.
Right.
And that's
Right.
tough. And it was funny, man. Like I was in a relationship, and so we started having difficulties because like the closer I get to God, it's like I'm start peeling things off, and it's like, so I wanted to stop having um, relations with the young lady,
Right.
and
Right.
so I was telling my mom, and man, my mom, she's hilarious, and she said when I told her, she said why, so and so then she was like, oh, like you're getting close to God. I'm like, yeah, but that was surprise. It was surprising to hear, because my mom asked about it. I was like, we're not doing too good.
Right.
Like, because I stopped sleeping with her. And my mom was like, why? Like, baby, I guess she was just checking to make sure, I was still on the up and up. She was like, baby, what's wrong? So, but yeah, man, so that's the biggest question. And to answer yours directly, it's, you asked, when do you start talking to God? And it's earlier on because, like I said, what happens when the expectations of the relationship and then the expectations that God has for us don't align. So you
So
have
then
to.
let's stay right there though, right? So what happens, because we get involved in relationships and you develop true feelings and you develop love for a person, and even if you guys have gotten to the place where you're around families, I've met your family, you've met my family, and there are kids involved, that whole scenario, and then like you start to realize, it wherever you are as far as your discussions with God on it. Like for instance, like you said, as far as the whole relations aspect, okay, well, I know I don't need to be doing this. Like I need to pull back from this. but they are on the other side. Now that creates a whole different scenario. Well, is there somebody else, or why? Now that starts to create a bit of turbulence. Is that not just a telltale sign that this isn't where I need to be as a whole anyway? Right. And I'll say that because I say this, my mom and I, everybody who knows, they know, my, like you, Quad, like you, Jeray, like my mom is my best friend. So we talk about a lot of stuff. And I talk so candidly with my mom. It would blow some people's minds how candidly my mom and I talk about dating and everything that goes on, right? And I love it. It's a beautiful thing because she gives me a different perspective, right? But my mom will tell me oftentimes in dating, she will say, whether it's a positive or a negative, like, son, that person does not align with where you're going, or either that person might really be a good piece for where your life is going, right? So what happens when, like, it's identified? Now I love this person here, but they don't identify, they're not good for where I'm going. Like, now what is the move? What Because that's a tough place to be.
And that's where we, I call another thing, that's where we delay our destiny. Because I'm going to be honest, man, we as men, what's good for us, we tend not to gravitate towards it. We
Absolutely.
tend to gravitate, to those things that are more risky, more challenging. But if we, and for real, it just causes us more problems along the way. Um, and that's just, we just learn the hard way. It just takes us a while. And, because I look back on situations like, man, if I would have chose this way instead of that way, like where I would be now. But, and a lot of times, it's like then we get in these situations and, it takes us further from where we're going, because this is the thing. You can't take a baseball bat to a football game.
For
So
sure.
everywhere you go, everyone can't go with you. You
Right.
can't take everything with you. And then, sometimes, like, God will, have to work with us, have to grind some more of us off until we can really get in a place where we need to be so he can take us actually where we're going.
Dre, your thoughts?
Um, it's kind of like, like what he said. When it's not matching up, it's tough. I'm young, so like I said, I go back. When I'm fresh out of high school, finally becoming a man. Stepping out there. I talk to a girl and she give you like the shoulder. I'm on like, oh God, God might tell me, or you might have that feeling. It's not. That ain't it.
Right.
But I'm telling myself, nah, that's just a challenge. That's a challenge for me. I got to get that.
And that's where we as men, like,
I got to get that.
that's a vital part of us as men, because we're hunters by nature, right? We are hunters by nature. And so it's a tough place to start to find yourself, where it's okay, God, you are calling me to be in this place, right? This is where I need to be. But man, that's a challenge. And I think I still got it. And Luster, you and I had this conversation on camera all the time.
Mhm.
Like, it's like, man, you're driven to the chase. You're driven to the challenge, even though we know that is not where God is leading me, and that's not where I need to be. But it's just that hunter side, right? So I guess the bigger question is, now once you get to that space, like, how do you flip that switch off as a man? That, because you never want to lose that hunter instinct. And this, we're gonna wrap up with this one. Like, you never want to lose that hunter instinct, but how do you channel that properly so that I am, for, let's say it like this, so that I am hunting the things that are the will of God for my life versus hunting things just to make sure that I still got it. You know what I mean? It's like, Jeray, I know you're a basketball player, you play, and I have seen this with my own two eyes. Luster, this man walk around with shoes in the trunk at any given time. If he's challenged, he go into the trunk to grab the shoes and let's go. Like, it's not a question. You said you could beat me, let's go. But I'm saying, like, we take that same mentality into dating. So it's like, man, I know I don't need to be here, but dang, that's a challenge. And I gotta show I can still, you know what I mean?
Is it wrong to say, using your point? You say with basketball, like you say, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I go grab my shoes and I get bust up. So now it's almost saying, is it? I learned from trying to do it on my own, and I fall short, or I get hit with an obstacle, or God not.
Oh, I think we might have lost Dre. Might have lost him.
Can you see me?
Yeah, yeah, I see you. Go ahead. You got? Can you hear us, Dre?
Froze.
Can you hear us now? All right. Quad, I'm gonna ask you real quick because I see Sabrina Chisholm jumped in and she said, "So you're going to waste my time and yours." And Sabrina, I would like for you to really kind of explain that a little deeper so that I know exactly how to address that question. Because I can't remember exactly what aspect you were speaking, we were talking about when you asked that question. So dive in real quick so we can wrap this up. Sabrina, please. So you're going to waste my time and yours. I want to make sure we answer that question head on before we wrap this up. But yeah, so Quad, like, how do you dictate the ability to be able to flip that switch on and make sure you're moving right where in the direction that God is calling you to be in, and turning off that masculine instinct of I just got to make sure I still got this.
Well, it really just boils down to perspective because you never turn it off.
Right?
Like I ain't gonna lie, man. If you got it, you got it.
Got it.
Even with like when Jeray was like, if a girl give you the cold shoulder, I remember one time I was talking to this young lady and I was like, hey, I like pull up, let's cook these lamb chops or whatever. Cause she was like, hey, I got a food truck, whatever. We cook lamb chops. I like, okay, pull up. We're gonna cook lamb chops here at the crib. She was like, she'll think about it. I said, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like this is me. Like, what do you mean you will think about it? But you know, you never really turn it off. And so the only thing I can suggest is that, we have to die out to self. And the more that we die out to self, the more the Lord can come in. And,
Okay.
we just have to, just really engage more with the Lord. And and G, man, like the conversations we've had, you know, I always fall short,
Right.
but it's just really a dying out, being in more fellowship with the Lord, being around more like-minded people that really understand the struggle, because it's difficult. I'm gonna just say this: church people are hard to deal with, okay,
Absolutely. That's a whole
because
nother. That's a session. That's a session for a whole nother day. That's a
I'm gonna
whole
be
nother
honest.
session.
A lot of church people couldn't handle this conversation. Like, we would be condemned, all up and down this board. But
And
it's
that, but that's the so I think that's let me say this if I could challenge it right there. Like I think that's the norm that we are attempting to break
right.
because you do have like what's been and I don't want to go too far left, but you do have what's been deemed as like, oh, this is church and this is appropriate for church. And then, as a whole, we're wondering why the battle is so tough on believers because we're not necessarily giving them the food that they need to feed them, and the world is trying to drown them in a different perspective. So that's why it's like, okay, let's find different spaces where we as singles like this platform can come together and talk and grow and share perspectives and ideas and things that we've had to deal with. I got to switch because my iPad's kind of about to die. But I noticed Miss Chisholm jumped back on here and she said, okay, you're chasing me, but after a few days that I'm not what you want, but you keep up the chase. Why? So let's address that real quick and then we'll close out.
But the thing, like I said earlier, we're in that chase, but we have to see. We really need to go through those seasons.
Right?
Like when you're up, when you're down. Because like I said, I'm gonna be giving 100. So it's not a waste of time because I'm gonna be giving 100% of who I am. So the tricky part for me is even from day one, I'm gonna be treating that woman like she is Mrs. Luster. From day one.
And he means that.
So
I know this person. He absolutely means that. He absolutely means
so
that.
and so I'm
Even when
glad you vouched for
even
him.
when I disagree,
So
my man absolutely means that
even
statement.
even when you disagree. because like I want to have that experience. So if this is that person, I'm creating a fairy tale from day one. And so it's not a waste of time, because we're all going through experiences. um you're just learning each other. But as long as we're learning each other, I'm still giving you 100% of my time and my effort. Trust me, it's not a waste of time. And then, like I did say earlier too, it's like relationships are dynamic. So within that year or so, you may have times where like I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that. And then like if you really think that it's a possibility, I mean, it's some things that we as men have to adjust to create that feminine environment for the woman to fully operate in.
Yeah, I'll speak for me personally. If I'm chasing you, and like the question said, if you're not what I want, I'm not gonna chase you. I'm gonna fall back. So yeah, cause I don't want nobody to thinking, they're exclusive with me, and we're exclusive, and he's not doing nothing, you're not doing nothing. If it's almost like you said, we're lying. So if I'm hunting something, or if that's, example, if I see something else that I feel like, just being honest, that I like more, I find more attractive, I'm off that. Now I'm just on to the next one. So just being honest on that one. Just
So
being
now,
honest.
so now you're able to
Because like
see.
you said, I don't want to waste nobody's time. I don't want to waste your
Yeah.
time. Because you, like you said, that give you opportunity to go out there and find somebody who you might love, or who might love you.
So now you're able to see like the different perspectives between Jeray in 20s, right? Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me, right?
It's kind of like glitchy though. I
All right,
can
so
hear
we're
you.
able to see. All right, this under promise you need to wrap up. All right, so now we're able to see, and this is why I wanted to get representation in all platforms. Jeray in 20s to 30s, me in 30 to 40s, and then Luster in 40 to 50s, because you're able to see the different perspectives in each platform and in each perspective as far as how we move, in dating. So I really I hate to wrap it up right here because I know Mark, I'm done with you, Mark. like, but I
Hey, let
know.
me just Hey
Go
G, let
ahead,
me put
go
this
ahead,
in right here. So it's
go
I
ahead.
think that in a lot of these situations, answering her question, I think some men waste more time than women do. Because last
I agree
situation
with
I
that.
was telling you
I
about,
agree.
I was like, bro, I was like, I'm really, man, I was going hard, the
Absolutely,
Gucci
yeah.
frame, everything. But I'm like, man, I really don't think she feeling me. I was like, she giving me mixed signals. Don't know if she really feeling me. Then I'm like, and then I even asked, like, just say it, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I think a lot of men waste more time chasing women than vice versa. Because like if we're hunting, like we're giving you everything that we have.
yeah.
But then, a lot of women will just stay around without just being like, hey, this not what's up, whatever, whatever.
For sure, for sure. All right, so guys, we're gonna table this because we're gonna get back to this. I gotta have y'all back on again. So I'll
Yeah.
get with both of y'all. To everybody that tuned in, man, thank y'all so much. I apologize for the connection issues that we've had throughout the course. We'll get it ironed out. But look, we will be back with a single life every second and fourth Monday. Every second and fourth Monday, we will be back with a single life. So man, listen, hey, I appreciate both of y'all for jumping on today, man, and being my special guest for the first show. Is real special to me, man. So I appreciate y'all. And we will get back at it in 2 weeks, man. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.
Yes,
All right.
sir.